Have you seen this meme before? It's one of my absolute favourites because it challenges our ideas about what chaos and order actually are. As modern humans, we're so focused on measuring and quantifying and categorising, and we think that in doing so we're bringing order to a chaotic world, when in reality we often ignore the order that's already present in nature. More than that, this image asks us to confront the possibility that in measuring and categorising and quantifying, we're actually creating a kind of chaos of our own. It reminds me of the deity or demiurge created by the great poet and mystic William Blake called Urizen. Here's how the book of Urizen begins. Lo, a shadow of horror is risen in eternity, unknown, unprolific, self-closed, all-repelling. What demon hath formed this abominable void, this soul-shuddering vacuum? Some said it is Urizen, but unknown, abstracted, brooding secret the dark power hid. Times on times he divided and measured space by space in his ninefold darkness. Unseen, unknown, changes appeared in his desolate mountains, rifted furious by the black winds of perturbation. Note the dividing and measuring. I'm simplifying a bit here, but in Blake's mythology, Urizen was largely seen as an evil figure who ensnared and trapped humanity inside webs of reason and logic. The idea that reason and logic, two things we've held sacred since the Enlightenment, could be seen as evil is a challenging idea for the Western mind. But like the meme that I began with, it's this challenging that I find so interesting. It's not simply what the meme or what Blake is saying, it's where it asks us to stand, where it positions us between two opposites, rather than on either side. This idea of balancing the opposites is key in Jungian psychology, and is an idea that I think is fundamental. Anybody who's confronted a wild animal or been caught up in a storm knows that there's chaos to nature. Of course there is. Similarly, anybody who stood in front of a beautiful piece of architecture knows that humans are responsible for bringing order to the world through measuring and quantifying. I also think there's a growing understanding that there is an order to the natural world as well, and we're seeing that with clean eating and organics and that kind of thing. But how many of us confront the real possibility that in categorizing and organizing and measuring, we're actually creating a kind of chaos? It's not something I see talked about as much. It's not something that appears in the dialogue. It's a blind spot, or in Jungian psychology, it's what we call the shadow. As we continue to move into an era defined by artificial intelligence and algorithms, I think we're starting to see more and more this evil and chaos that Blake warned us about. As with all great poets and mystics, he was a man way ahead of his time. Someone I do see talking about this, and doing so very articulately and persuasively, is the writer Paul Kingsnorth in his excellent work Against the Machine. For Kingsnorth, the machine is the name for this anti-human, totalizing, technological, algorithmic force that we can all see and feel in our present lives. About a third of the way through the book, Kingsnorth writes, I see the machine humming gently to itself as it binds us with its offerings, as it dangles its promises before us and slowly, slowly, slowly reels us in. I think of the part of it that we interact with daily, the glowing white interface through which we volunteer every detail of our lives in exchange for information or pleasure or stories told by global entertainment corporations who commodify our culture and sell it back to us. I think of the words we use to describe this interface, which we carry with us in our pockets wherever we go, as we are tracked down every street and into every forest that remains. The web, the net. I think these are things designed to trap prey. To me, it's hard not to see how we're building a prison around ourselves where we're measured and quantified and categorized. So what do these three examples, the meme, Blake's Urizen, and Kingsnorth's The Machine, what do these three examples offer to us as ways out of this prison? Well, with the meme, I think the message is to hold the opposites. By presenting us with an idea and an image that is contra to how we normally see the world, that forces us to snap back into a position of thinking alternatively, it asks us to stand between these two opposites. One of the ways we can resist being categorized in the modern world is to refuse to fall into false dichotomies. And I love images or ideas that prompt us into a space where we don't fall in either or thinking. With Blake's mythology, the opposing deity to Urizen, the evil deity of reason and logic, is Los, who was the deity of imagination. And imagination is something I want to talk about a lot more in this channel because I truly believe that along with love, it is the thing that can defeat evil. And with Paul Kingsnorth's Against the Machine, I don't want to give away the ending, but he leaves us with a note of optimism and suggests that we should all find our own ways of resisting the machine, drawing our own lines that we will not cross. For me, that looks like creating art with and for humans, using the imagination as much as possible. What does it look like for you?